Last night you dreamed. Maybe you flew. Maybe you fell. Maybe someone you haven't thought about in years appeared in your kitchen, perfectly ordinary, as if they'd never left. You woke up, the images dissolved, and you moved on with your day. But here's the thing. That dream, that strange, vivid, emotionally loaded experience your brain manufactured while you were unconscious, is not a modern glitch. It is ancient technology. And the real story of what your ancestors dreamed about will make you look at sleep in a completely different way. Because here's what almost nobody tells you. Dreaming is not a rest state. It is an active, evolved system that has been running inside human skulls for at least 300,000 years, possibly longer. And the dreams your ancient ancestors had were not random. They were not noise. They were rehearsal. Start with the basics. When you fall asleep and enter what scientists call REM sleep, rapid eye movement sleep, your brain does something remarkable. It doesn't power down. It lights up. The visual cortex fires. The emotional centers surge. The prefrontal cortex, the part responsible for rational thought and self-awareness, goes almost completely quiet. What's left is a brain that feels everything, sees everything, but cannot stop to question whether any of it is real. Researcher Matthew Walker, a neuroscientist at UC Berkeley and author of extensive studies on sleep and memory, describes REM sleep as the brain's overnight therapy session. During this phase, your brain replays emotional memories, but strips them of their emotional charge. You re-experience the event. You don't re-experience the pain. Over time, this process blunts the sharpness of traumatic memory. It lets you carry the lesson without carrying the wound. Your ancestors needed this desperately. Think about what a typical day looked like for a human being 100,000 years ago. You woke before dawn? You assessed threats before you assessed anything else? Was the territory safe? Was there a predator nearby? Had anything changed in the landscape overnight? Every single day was a data collection exercise in survival. And every night, your brain had to sort through that data, tag what mattered, rehearse what to do differently, and compress it all into memory before the next dawn. This is where dreaming becomes extraordinary. In 2000, researchers Aaron Walmsley and Robert Stickgold at Harvard Medical School ran a series of studies on what are called threat simulation dreams. The idea, originally proposed by Finnish cognitive neuroscientist Antti Revonsuo, is that dreaming evolved specifically as a biological rehearsal mechanism. The threat simulation theory, as it's now called, argues that the primary function of dreaming was to simulate threatening events, predators, rivals, falls, floods, so that the waking mind would be better prepared to respond to them. Think about what that means. When you dream about running and your legs won't move, that is not a malfunction. That is an ancient training protocol. Your brain is rehearsing the worst-case scenario. It is building a response library. It is making sure that when the moment comes, when the threat is real, your body has already been through something like it. The fear is familiar. The response is faster, and Revonsuo's research found something that should stop you cold. The content of human dreams across cultures, across centuries, is not random. It is heavily skewed toward threat. People dream about being chased far more often than they dream about being helped. They dream about falling far more often than flying. They dream about losing loved ones far more often than finding them. The bias is not a coincidence. It is a feature. Your dreaming brain is a pessimist by design, because pessimists survived. Now here is where it gets stranger. Anthropologist and sleep researcher Jerome Siegel at UCLA has studied indigenous groups whose sleep patterns have never been shaped by electricity, artificial light, or modern schedules. The Hadza of Tanzania, the San people of the Kalahari, the Tsimane of Bolivia. These groups sleep differently than you do. They don't sleep in one long block. They sleep in 2 or 3 shorter periods, waking naturally in the middle of the night for an hour or two before sleeping again. This is called segmented sleep, and historians now believe it was the default human sleep pattern for most of our history. So what happened in that gap? That quiet, dark middle of the night when ancient humans were awake, but the world was when people talked about their dreams, shared them, interpreted them together. In nearly every early human culture archaeologists and anthropologists have studied, Dreams held social weight. They were not private. They were communal data. In Aboriginal Australian traditions stretching back over 60,000 years, dreams were believed to be communications from ancestors in what they called the Dreamtime, a parallel reality as real and significant as the waking world. In ancient Mesopotamia, the earliest written records humanity has produced, dream interpretation was a formal profession. Kings consulted dream priests. Battles were delayed or launched based on what a ruler had seen while sleeping. This was not superstition layered on top of biology. This was the biology expressing itself through culture. The brain generates vivid, emotionally resonant, pattern-rich experiences every night. Of course, ancient humans concluded that something important was happening. They were right. Something important was happening. They just didn't have the neuroscience to name it. And what were they dreaming about? The same things you dream about, adjusted for their world. Studies on dream content in non-Western and pre-industrial cultures show that the core themes are universal: social conflict, pursuit, loss, sexual desire, the faces of people they knew, animals, movement through landscape, environmental threats, storms, floods, heat, cold. The emotional landscape of dreams does not change across cultures or across centuries. The scenery shifts, but the emotional architecture is identical. You dream about your coworkers. Your ancestors dreamed about the people in their band. You dream about missing a flight. They dreamed about losing the trail. The fear is the same. The source is the same. The brain generating the experience is the same brain. Here is the counterintuitive twist that most people never consider. You might assume that because ancient humans faced genuine daily threats, real predators, real famine, real conflict, their dreams would have been unrelentingly dark. Nightmares every night, a constant loop of trauma. But the research suggests the opposite. Walker's work shows that the better the emotional processing function of REM sleep, the less emotionally amplified daily stress becomes. Ancient humans who slept well, whose dreaming systems were functioning as designed, may have been emotionally more resilient than many modern humans are today. Because here is what disrupts the system. Artificial light suppresses melatonin and delays the onset of REM sleep. Alarm clocks cut REM cycles short. And REM sleep concentrates in the final hours of sleep, which means the first thing a morning alarm eliminates is your emotional processing time. Alcohol blocks REM sleep almost entirely. Chronic stress fragments it. Every modern condition that disrupts sleep is not just stealing rest. It is stealing the nightly therapy session your brain has been running for 300,000 years. Ancient humans went to sleep when it got dark. They woke with the light. They dreamed in long, uninterrupted REM cycles. They shared those dreams socially. They interpreted them collectively. And their brains were, as a result, doing exactly what evolution designed them to do. Now think about last night. How much sleep did you get? Did you wake up naturally, or did something cut it short? Did you lie awake running through tomorrow's problems instead of letting your brain run through its own? The dreams you remember, and the ones you don't, are not entertainment. They are not noise from a brain-killing time. They are the oldest technology in your body, running a process that was already ancient before the first city was ever built, before the first word was ever written, before fire was controlled, possibly before language itself. Tonight, when you close your eyes, your brain will do what it has done every night for hundreds of thousands of years. It will take the most emotionally charged moments of your day. It will replay them, strip them, sort them, and file them somewhere you can carry without being crushed by them. It will run simulations of threats you haven't faced yet. It will rehearse the version of you who survives. You'll wake up, the images will dissolve, and you'll move on with your day, just like your ancestors did. Just like every human who ever lived has done. The dream fades, but the processing doesn't. It already happened. While you were somewhere else entirely, your brain was doing the oldest, most necessary thing it knows how to do. Taking care of you, in the dark. While you slept,